For years, the world's been trying to build a global system for trading carbon reductions. The first real attempt, under the Kyoto Protocol, well, it had its issues. But now, with the Paris Agreement, the entire game has changed. Today, we're digging into its successor, a brand new UN-centralized carbon market that's designed to unlock trillions in climate finance and hopefully supercharge climate action around the globe.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll take a quick trip back in time to see how the old system kinda set the stage for this new one. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the new rulebook, Article 6. From there, we'll explore this new centralized market, break down how the trading actually works, and finally take a look at the road ahead to get this whole thing up and running.
To really get what makes this new market such a big deal, you first have to understand the system it's replacing.
Okay, so under the old Kyoto Protocol, we had something called the Clean Development Mechanism, or CDM. The idea was pretty simple, really. A developed country could, say, fund a wind farm in a developing country, and in return, get to claim the carbon credits from that project. It was a groundbreaking idea at the time, but, it wasn't perfect.
The real shift here is in the entire global strategy. The Kyoto Protocol was very top-down. A handful of wealthy nations were given mandatory targets. But the Paris Agreement? It completely flipped the script. It's bottoms-up, which means every country sets its own climate goals. And a new reality like that? Well, it demanded a whole new carbon market.
And that brings us right to the new rulebook. Let's jump into Article 6 of the Paris Agreement and see exactly how it builds the foundation for this new market.
And as you can see, getting these rules right has been a marathon, not a sprint. Seriously, it's taken 9 long years of really tough negotiations to hammer out all the details and get this system ready for prime time.
So Article 6 isn't just one thing, it's actually split into 3 main parts. Article 6.2 creates rules for countries to trade credits directly with each other. Article 6.8 is all about cooperation without markets, things like sharing green tech. But the one we're really focusing on, the true successor to the old CDM, is Article 6.4. This is the part that creates a brand new centralized global market, all supervised by the UN.
So what is it that makes this new centralized market under Article 6.4 so different from the CDM that it's replacing?
The official language doesn't pull any punches. This isn't just a simple replacement. It's explicitly designed to be an upgrade, a revised, modified, and improved version of everything that came before it.
When you put the old and the new side by side, the difference is pretty stark. This new mechanism is baked right into the Paris Agreement. It's got direct UN oversight and gives host countries a much stronger role. The whole point is for it to be a truly global market, open to all kinds of projects from anywhere in the world.
Okay, that's the theory. But let's get down to the practical side. How does this system for actually trading emission reductions work?
Every market needs a currency, right? Well, the currency of this new market is the ITMO. That stands for Internationally Transferable Mitigation Outcome. Just think of it like a digital voucher, where one ITMO equals exactly 1 ton of CO2 that's been removed from the atmosphere.
But this immediately brings up the huge question that has plagued carbon markets for years. If one country sells a credit, how do you make absolutely sure that both the buyer and the seller don't try to claim that same 1-ton reduction? It's a classic problem.
The solution is this really clever 4-step accounting process. So, first, a host country generates an emissions cut. Second, they sell some of that as ITMOs. Third, the country that buys them uses those ITMOs to help meet its own climate target. And then, and this is the absolute key, that 4th step, the host country has to add the sold ITMOs back to its own emissions tally. And that brilliant little accounting trick is called a corresponding adjustment. It's a simple but incredibly powerful mechanism that's designed to stop double counting in its tracks and really to ensure the integrity of the entire system.
Okay, so the rules are written. The accounting is sound. The big question now is, what actually needs to happen to get this market off the ground and running?
Well, the good news is there is a massive amount of global interest. We're talking more than 90% of all countries have officially said they plan to use these new mechanisms under Article 6. So the demand to participate, it's definitely there. But interest alone isn't going to cut it. Governments now have a pretty clear to-do list. Figure out which projects are eligible, build the systems to track everything, and start talking with the private sector.
And the role for the private sector here is just huge. Companies need to jump in and start developing high-quality projects that actually line up with national climate plans. They've got to build partnerships with governments to shape the rules and manage risks like double counting. Let's be honest, This market simply won't work without them.
So, here's the bottom line. After nearly a decade of work, the blueprint for a better, more transparent global carbon market is finally here. It really does have the potential to be a powerful engine for climate action. But the real work, that's just starting. The question now is, can the world come together to build this engine? And can they do it fast enough to win the race against climate change?